Good morning and happy Municipal Awareness Week 2020 here in the town of Mahone Bay. It is a little different than past Municipal Awareness Weeks this year. We had in the past done a tour of town infrastructure, had the benefit of Chester Community Transit's bus, and we're able to take some residents around to view a few of the different facilities and the infrastructure used by the town to deliver services to our residents. Unfortunately, this year, as a result of COVID-19, we are not able to offer the tour. But you know what? I think we can still do a little something to show you around their infrastructure. So I'm going to suit up and we're going to head out by video this time and adhering to all of the proper safety practices, both those ones for COVID and, of course, all the usual safety practices that are important in our day-to-day work here with the town. So if you'll come with me, we're going to take a little trip around by video, and we'll do our best to provide you with a tour experience this year that takes into account the conditions of the pandemic. So hope you're going to come join us on this tour. And what tour of Mahone Bay would be complete without stopping off here on the beautiful Mahone Bay waterfront? In this case, we've stopped here to talk about a few of the town's infrastructure responsibilities. Here behind us you can see Edgewater Street, which is part of the provincial highway system. All streets within the town of Mahone Bay are the responsibility of the town to maintain, including paving and winter maintenance, which is taken care of by our dedicated public works crew. Also behind me you can see the shoreline, the Mahone Bay Harbour. The town has been working for a number of years to secure federal and provincial support for shoreline improvements here to protect Edgewater Street from rising tides, as well as protecting our historic three churches and the rest of the Mahone Bay waterfront. Also here behind me, you'll see the Visitor Information Centre, operated by the Mahone Bay Tourism Chamber of Commerce. That is a building provided by the town to the Chamber for this purpose, and also provided for the purpose of supporting tourism are two comfort stations, public washrooms located on Main and Edgewater Street, which are also maintained by the town. As well, the town staff are responsible for emptying garbage cans and all kinds of other maintenance work within the community. And behind me, you'll see Bayview Cemetery. Bayview Cemetery behind me is one of two cemeteries that is operated by the town, the other one being Park Cemetery. And these cemeteries are maintained by the town, have been for many, many years. Behind us here is a historic cemetery, and Park Cemetery, accessed off Park Street on Kinburn, is an active cemetery, still being very much used for the future. All right, we're going to head on to our next location. Here we are on beautiful Oakland Lake in the protected watershed area. This lake behind me is the source of all of the town's fresh water, which is pumped via this building and over 2 kilometers of transmission lines to the treatment plant in town, where we'll be stopping later on our tour. Staff have been working to improve the building, including the installation of new propane generators in the past year. This building is located outside of town and outside of our electric territory, so the generators here are an important step to ensure the reliability of our water service for residents and businesses. We've arrived at the Mahone Bay Water Treatment Plant. Let's go see if anybody's inside. Oh, there we are. Here's Megan. Megan Rafferty, our lead operator here at the water treatment plant. Hi, Megan.
Good morning.
Thanks, Megan, very much for taking a moment here to show residents around our facility. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about the place.
Sure, I'd love to. So first of all, I just want to let you know that this is a diagram of our water treatment process here at the plant. Dylan's going to be able to go out on the floor and give you a look at what that'll look like in real time, but it's pretty loud out there, so I thought first let's go through it all so you have an idea of what happens here. So our raw water supply comes from Oakland Lake, and it travels a 3-kilometer transmission line, gets pumped up here to the water treatment plant. When it comes into the water treatment plant, it's injected with soda ash and polyaluminum chloride, and those two chemicals work to adjust pH, and they work as a coagulant, and that helps to remove some of the impurities that are in the raw water coming into the plant. It goes through flash mixing, coagulation, and flocculation. So basically, as it's traveling through, it's the chemicals having an opportunity to mix with the water so that the best result for removal of those impurities can happen. From there, we have a direct filtration plant. So it goes through into Paul area microfiltration treatment system. So we have 2 skids, and what that means is that these membranes are a microfiltration, which is the size of hole that the water is pushed through, and they remove all of those impurities as part of the treatment process. They're on the floor. We'll be able to show a cutout of what those filters actually look like. From there, the treated water is then disinfected in primary disinfection, and we use sodium hypochlorite, which is chlorine, and UV disinfection. After that, it goes to the treated water pumps, and the treated water pumps carry the water up to the clear well reservoir. So that's where our water storage happens, and there's approximately 2,000 cubic meters of water that's able to be stored there. It's behind the water treatment plant. After it comes out of the clear well and it's on its way into the community for consumption, it actually comes back into the water plant for polishing. What that means is that we add sodium hypochlorite again for secondary disinfection. We add a corrosion inhibitor, which helps to coat the lines of our pipes in the system, and we do pH adjustment again so that we maintain the integrity of the system as well when it comes to corrosion. So it comes into the plant, gets those 3 chemicals added, and then it goes back out to the system, and the entire system is gravity fed.
Well, thank you very much. That's certainly quite a complex operation, and we know all of this is necessary to ensure compliance with federal and provincial health and environmental regulations. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what we do to make sure that the water produced here is safe and meets all those requirements.
Yes, so this is definitely a very regulated industry. So on the federal level, we have Health Canada that produces the Canadian guidelines for drinking water quality. So that goes through a very comprehensive range of chemical, biological, and radiological parameters that we have to operate within. They have limits that you're allowed to have in drinking water. Additionally, we work in coordination with the provincial government, who provides us with operating guidelines for public drinking water systems, in addition to providing us with our approval to operate. So this facility, in addition to the distribution system, has what's called an approval to operate. So it's a document that's issued by the provincial government that gives us a series of guidelines that we have to follow in order to be allowed to operate this facility. Additionally, we have a separate approval to withdraw, which has to do with how much water we're actually allowed to take out of Oakland Lake and treat in order to maintain the integrity of the watershed as well. The third part, I guess, the third component in terms of regulation is that the people who work here, myself and Robert, are certified operators. So that goes through the provincial government as well. And so what that means is that through a series of exams and continuing education and workplace experience, we've been able to achieve operator certificates that allows us to work in these facilities.
Wow, well, we're certainly lucky to have you and Robert working here at the town. Maybe you could take us through a little bit.
Certainly.
Now we're going to go take a look a bit inside the plant. Well, thank you very much, Megan, for taking us on this tour of the water plant. I really appreciate you taking the time today. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit before we go about some of the current projects that the utility is working on.
Sure. Well, for the water plant, there are a couple of projects that we've been working on. Over here to the right is the Clearwell Reservoir that I had talked about earlier. And this year we're going to be doing an inspection that involves having divers go into the Clearwell and do a physical inspection of the integrity of the Clearwell itself to make sure that it's functioning the way that it should be. And additionally, we've been working on our communications. So this plant is an automated plant, and what that means is that we use SCADA, which is Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. It's a software program that allows us to operate the plant. It operates automatically, but also we can use it, turn valves and turn pumps on and off. And we also get communication from our raw water pump house, the pumps that are existing down there. So we're doing a study on communication, and we're upgrading a few of the components of that, and hoping that in the end we're replacing antenna and tower so that we'll be able to add on the wastewater treatment plant and the lift stations to our whole SCADA package. Communication package, I guess.
It's amazing what goes into producing clean water for residents here in Mahone Bay. Thank you very much again, Megan, and we'll let you get back to work.
Thank you.
Of course, we had to stop off here at the old Mahone Bay Fire Station. It's from this station here on the corner of Kinburn and Claremont Street in Mahone Bay, where the volunteer fire department serves the town and surrounding area from this building, which has been in use for over 60 years. And we're pleased to say that construction has begun on a new station, which I'll just walk you over and show you the beginning of that work here, just around the corner. We're looking forward to seeing the station open here on the new site, expected sometime in the fall of 2021. All right, we're going to head on to our next stop. Here we are at the Mahone Bay ball field. You can see things are a little different this year with the pandemic signage behind me. But we've arranged for our Director of Operations, Derek McKenzie, to meet us here and tell us a little bit about the various recreational infrastructure provided by the town. Thank you very much for joining us, Derek. I just wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the town's recreational infrastructure, including where we are right now.
Well, right now we are at the ball field, which is located within Jubilee Park. It's a park area that's approximately 20 acres in size. It includes the ball field, our swimming pool. We have a playground. There's a pond for outdoor skating in the winter time. The town also has another park called the Aquatic Park, which is located off of Claremont Street, and it's more of a passive recreation area. We have other infrastructure, our bandstand facility on Main Street. We have some walking trails along the waterfront, that type of stuff as well. The tennis courts are located close to Jubilee Park. It's not exactly part of the park, but it is very much adjacent to this area.
That's a lot of recreational infrastructure for a small town, and I know that we're very fortunate to have a number of partnerships that help us to operate this infrastructure. Maybe you could tell us a little about some of those community partnerships.
Yes, for example, with our swimming pool facility, which is located here next to the ball field, that it is operated by a group called the Mahone Bay and Area Swimming Pool Society, who work very closely with the town. The town has representation on its board of directors, and the organization is involved with various fundraising activities and that type of stuff in order to operate the pool and provide recreation for local residents. Unfortunately, this year the swimming pool was not able to open due to the COVID pandemic, and we're optimistic that that we'll be able to open for the 2021 season.
Well, that's certainly something to look forward to. Thank you very much, Derek. I'm here with Phil Lawson, our lead hand with the Mahone Bay Electric Utility. And Phil, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
Hi. So what we're looking at here is these main power lines, the transmission lines, come in to this transformer at 69,000 volts. They get transformed down to 2,400 volts, which we then distribute out on 3 separate circuits to town residents. They go out on West Circuit, Centre Circuit and East Circuit. Through these grey boxes here, which are called a recloser, which if a case of tree limb comes down on the line, that will cut the power before any damage happens to the line, so we don't get lines burnt down on the ground, etc. So also, if you notice your power flicks on and off a couple of times, that's those operating. They'll go off, they'll come back on in case the branch just dropped and fell off again, so power can stay on, and they'll do that 3 times. And if the 3rd time the fault's still on the line, they'll stay off until we come and repair it.
Thank you very much, Phil. So you mentioned there one of the things that we did this year as a major project was replacing our reclosers. And another thing that we are doing as a utility is making sure residents have better information about the status of power and when it will be restored. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Mahone Bay Utility does to keep residents informed?
Yeah, we try and use code red whenever possible. So if there is a power outage and the power is off, we should put an alert on there. Once we find out the problem, we'll let you know what the problem is and how long it's going to take before we fix it. If we go out and find a problem that we need to shut down power to either a certain area, to the whole town, whatever the problem may be, we'll then put an alert on code red and give 5-10 minutes notice before we cut the power off.
Well, I just wanted to thank you again, Phil, very much for taking the time today. And we're going to let you get back to work.
All right, thank you. See you again.
I've stopped off here on Main Street, and you can see behind me why I've stopped here. This is one of a couple of great projects the town undertook to recognize our centennial last year. This is a heritage mural that was painted by local artist Peter Matthias, and a number of other projects include signage around the town, improvement of the bandstand, as well as a great community project where we planted over 100 trees. So these were some great projects last year. We're looking forward to many more over the next 100 years. And now off we go to the wastewater treatment plant. Here we are at the town's wastewater treatment facility, and we're just going to take a look inside. Since the mid-1990s, this is where the town of Mahone Bay has been treating all of the wastewater effluent from homes and businesses. It's treated here through these lagoons, and after aeration, the treated effluent makes its way out into Mahone Bay Harbor. The town is currently this year working on a pilot project to upgrade our treatment to ensure that the effluent going out into the harbor continues to exceed all federal and provincial guidelines. Our staff have been working very hard on that project this year. We look forward to more improvements in the future.
Hi, Mahone Bay. My name is Maureen Hughes. I'm the town clerk and deputy CAO, and this is Gertie. Gertie and I are coming to you from my sewing room, which since March has been my home office. Like my colleagues in finance and administration, I continue to get your emails and your phone calls, but we all really miss seeing you in person. And we really miss your dogs too. Please, Mahone Bay, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again really soon.
And here we are at a fitting place to end our municipal awareness tour. We're at the Mahone Bay Bandstand on Main Street. The bandstand was one of the centennial projects, refurbishing the bandstand here and the addition of a new flagpole. And we're just gonna walk over and take a little look. As a part of the recent refurbishment here, we've been able to make some accessibility improvements as part of the town's ongoing commitment to accessibility. Behind me here, you'll see the new bleachers, and underneath my feet here are also some new accessible walkways. Oh, and look who it is here.
Good morning. How are you, Dylan? Nice to see you today here at the Michael O'Connor Memorial Bandstand, which has recently been refurbished. I hope you've enjoyed the opportunity to travel around Mahone Bay and to look at some of the resources that the town utilizes on a day-to-day basis to provide us with the comfortable lifestyle that we have here in Mahone Bay. The Mahone Bay town staff are on duty every day. They have been right through the whole COVID process, and they remain on duty to ensure that the services that you need, that you expect, and that you deserve from Mahone Bay are available. During this Municipal Awareness Week, I would invite all of our citizens to become more aware of what is provided by the town of Mahone Bay, and to take a moment to get to know some of the staff and to thank them for their efforts. Enjoy Municipal Awareness Week.